$940. That was everything Jordan had. Rent was due in 18 days. Rent was $1,350. He had $940. 3 days earlier, he had gotten an email. Subject line, restructuring update. And just like that, 4 years of steady salary, gone. Jordan hadn't done anything wrong. Good job. Steady salary, normal life, rent, food, gym, nights out, a holiday here and there. Everything reasonable, everything earned. But here's what was happening every single month without Jordan noticing. Money came in, life took it, repeat. There was never a system, never a plan. Just money arrives, money leaves, see what's left. And what was left was almost nothing. He scrolled through his transactions, rent, gym membership, 3 streaming services, takeaway, online shopping, a few nights out. All of it normal, all of it justifiable at the time. None of it saving him right now. For 4 years, Jordan had been standing on one pole, his salary, and it had felt completely fine because the pole had never disappeared before until Tuesday afternoon, when it did. Here's what Jordan did in the first 24 hours, not what most people do, which is panic apply to every job they can find or call their parents or just sit there hoping it somehow gets better. He sat down. He wrote down every single expense he had, every subscription, every recurring charge, everything his money touched each month, 2 columns, needs, and cut. In 20 minutes, he found $182 a month he hadn't known he was spending. Gym canceled, streaming down to 1 service. Subscriptions he'd forgotten existed, gone. Eating out budget cut in half. Not forever, just for now. The next morning, he did something most people in his position wouldn't think to do. He called his landlord before he missed a payment, not after. Before. He explained honestly. He asked for 2 weeks flexibility on rent while he sorted things out. She said yes, not because she had to, because he asked early, honestly, and with respect. Most people wait until they're already behind. By then, the conversation is 10 times harder, and the answer is usually no. Same day, Jordan applied for unemployment benefits. A lot of people delay this out of pride or confusion. Jordan didn't. He applied immediately, found out exactly what he was entitled to, and understood his floor, the minimum amount coming in while he searched. Knowing your floor is the difference between panicking and planning. Jordan gave himself a 90-day window. Month 1, stabilize. Stop the bleeding. Cut everything that isn't essential. Know the floor. Don't panic. Month 2, search properly, not frantically. Target the right roles. Quality over volume. Month 3, if needed, reassess. Freelance, temp work, anything to bridge the gap while keeping the real search going. A crisis without a plan is just a crisis. A crisis with a plan is a problem to solve. For month 2, Jordan was systematic. He didn't send 50 applications everywhere and hope something landed. He identified 15 companies he actually wanted to work at, researched each one properly, wrote a specific cover letter for each application. Fewer applications, more intention, better outcomes. 6 weeks in, Jordan had 3 interviews. Not because he was lucky, because he was prepared. Before every interview, he understood the company, understood the role, and understood exactly what he could offer. He wasn't desperate in that room. He was ready, and people can feel the difference. While Jordan waited to hear back, he did something that surprised him. He started calculating, not just the survival numbers, what he needed to get through each week, but the number he should have had going into this. He asked himself one simple question. If I lose my job tomorrow, how long can I survive on what I have right now? His monthly expenses were around $2,800. A standard emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in a separate untouched account. 3 months. That's $8,400. 6 months. That's $16,800. Jordan had $940. Not because he didn't earn enough, because building a buffer had always been something to think about later. Later had arrived without warning. Here's what a 3-month emergency fund actually buys you. Not comfort, not wealth, not security forever. Time. Time to search properly instead of frantically. Time to wait for the right role instead of any role. Time to negotiate instead of just accepting the first number someone puts in front of you. Jordan got lucky. He found a job in 8 weeks, but those 8 weeks were the most stressful of his adult life. Not because the situation was impossible, because he had no buffer, no time, no room to breathe. On day 56, Jordan got an offer, and because he'd managed his money tightly for 8 weeks, he had just enough breathing room to negotiate. He asked for more. He got $4,000 above the opening offer, because he wasn't panicking when he asked. The week Jordan started his new job, he did something he had never done before. He set up a system, not because things were bad, because he had learned what happened when they were. Emergency fund first, before everything else. 10% of every paycheck, automatic transfer, same day the salary lands, into a completely separate account at a different bank. No debit card attached, no easy access, hard to touch by design. Goal: 3 months of expenses built as fast as possible, then push to 6. And here's the thing most people miss. The emergency fund and the investment account are not the same thing. The emergency fund is not there to grow. It's there to protect everything else, including your investments, from being touched when something goes wrong. You don't invest it. You don't touch it unless there is a real emergency. You just build it and let it do its job, which is buying you time when you need it most. 6 months later, Jordan had $5,200 in his emergency fund. Not $8,400 yet, but 6 times more than he had on the worst day of his adult life. And when he thought about losing his job now, the feeling wasn't panic anymore. It was, I have time. Jordan still works a job, same kind of life, same kind of salary, but something fundamental changed in how he thinks about money. Before, money came in and money left, and he hoped there would be something left at the end of the month. Now, the buffer fills first, every single month, before he spends a single dollar on anything else. 3 things Jordan learned the hard way so you don't have to. 1, your salary is not a safety net. It is income. It stops when you stop. Something else has to catch you. 2, an emergency fund doesn't buy comfort. It buys time, and time is everything in a crisis. 3, you build the buffer before you need it. Not during, not after, before. Here's the question worth sitting with after this video. If you lost your job tomorrow, how many days could you survive on what you have right now? If the answer makes you uncomfortable, that is the only number that matters right now. Not investments, not income, not anything else. 1 account, 1 automatic transfer. Whatever percentage you can start with this week. Build the floor before you need it. Subscribe if you want to keep building. See you next week.